going on, everybody? It is 3 o'clock here in Guttenberg, Iowa, Saturday, June 20th, 2020. Uh, how's everybody doing? I am tired, but perking up a little bit. I had a very long run, or what felt like a very long run this morning, and then was just absolutely exhausted and took a nap, and that felt great. And so I'm still a little bit like groggy, but perking up. I got a little bit of scratch in my water bottle for today. So hopefully that'll help. There's a little bit of sugar in there, get me a little bit more fired up for today's live stream. But even if I'm a little tired, I'm still very excited to see all you guys. Stevie76 is here, says, yo, what's going on? I saw Martha's in here as well. JC's here, says, hi, hey, everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend. Awesome. Terrence Hui says, hey, Kofuzi and friends, finished a virtual half this morning, no option to defer. And despite no people to race against, hit my goal of going sub 150. Now I just got to do it officially with a chip. Awesome. Congratulations. I will drink to that. The flavor that I'm drinking today is that matcha green tea with lemon, which we talked about before. It's such a good flavor. I have been really enjoying the Scratch Lab lately. I bought this box. It was a mix, a sampler pack, and it had like a whole bunch of different flavors in it. I've shown it to you guys before, but I've been really happy with the purchase because I've been enjoying the flavor of the Scratch Labs. So it's been pretty good for me. I've been running it with it in my pack for the past couple of runs too. So it's been working both as like just an enjoyable drink, but also as run fuel too. So it's been pretty cool. Let's see. Giorgio Missidi says, hi, I'm only 14. Should I try math training or do you recommend other types of running programs? I think at 14 that I don't know that you need math training. I think that like at the edges, when you're young or very old, some of those general formulas might not work out as well. I don't have any scientific data to back that up, but it's just at that point, like the numbers get like to think that you have to, at 14, you'd be running at your math rate would be 166 beats per minute just seems wrong. Or if you're a little bit older than I am, I'm 40, I'm already at 145, but let's say I'm at 50 or let's say I'm at 60, to then be running at like 120 beats per minute seems really, really low. So I'm just not sure, not that 60 is very, very old, but just to show, for example, like what happens as you get to some away from like the middle of the range. And so I'm not sure that you need to follow that program necessarily. But Giorgio, do you have a coach or someone else that like on a team that you're running for that can give you some options? Because that is probably what I recommend that you do instead. Is if you are on a cross country team or on a track team, talk to your coach and get some advice on what you should do. If you don't have a coach, or if you're not on a team, or if you're thinking about joining a team, then I think that following the general 80-20 formula is going to be pretty good for you, where the majority of your run, 80% of your running, like of your days, are going to be easy, and like 1 out of every 5 days, then you have a harder run with a lot more intensity. All right, let's see what else we got here. Kirsty said he let's see, virtual train 15K this morning here in New Jersey. It was so darn humid. Yeah, I think it was humid everywhere in the US today. It was super humid here. My Strava, since I started subscribing to Strava, it does the thing where on all my runs, it pulls weather data, and it said that humidity was 100% today. And that felt about right. I mean, there were certain parts where it was like misting / raining. So it feels like it for sure. But I feel like all my friends in Chicago, which is not that far away, but it's almost 250 miles away from here, we're saying it's humid, and people in New Jersey are saying it's humid. Everyone is saying it's humid no matter where they are. So it just seems to be like not universal, but pretty much everywhere. But hope Kurt, I hope the 15K went well. Mark Chankoko is here. Let's see. Nehemiah Fuller is here as well. And Inez Dunbar is here as well. He says, hey, Kofuzi had a busy day, a 30-mile day, a 100-mile week, and 1,000 miles this year. That's pretty cool. Very awesome. Ganoy Yevra says, hi. CJ Cruz says, yo, what's going on? Kiefer Vacation says, naps. Yeah, I love naps. It was nice. It was relaxing. The girls have been making a lot of forts lately. and like they take all the blankets and the sheets and all the chairs in the place, and they will like erect forts in the living room. And so they did that while my wife and I were able to relax on the couches. She just started watching like a new show on Netflix, and I took a nap. It was nice. And then like that lasts so only so long until it becomes like pandemonium slash fighting. So we enjoyed it while we could. And then my wife did let me nap a little bit longer, and she kind of like took over and took control of things. So that was nice. Um, Donald Beck did his first Grit 300 run today. Awesome. MC1796 said 10 miles this morning at 9 a.m. in New York, New Jersey area. And it's definitely a hot one, even that early. Yeah. Mr. Random said it's humid in the UK. Wow, not very normal. That's interesting. Um, CJ Cruz says waiting on Evo Ride and Glide Ride to arrive. He says glide ride, or is it glider-eyed? That's so funny. That's a nice take on the high price joke. Um, there was what's been a little bit disappointing lately is that all the promoted hyper ice ads that are on my Instagram feed, I've already commented like rice on them. And so today there was a new one that only had 3 comments on it, so I put my rice emoji on there. um, all right. Gavin Braden said, "What's up, everybody? Kofuzi, I hear the Ed Bud Novablast collaboration drops on Monday. Cannot wait for that one." I'll have to talk to Ed about that because that's a surprise to me. So I'm not sure if Monday is the right day, but let me. I think that's what he wanted to do, but I messed up some of the schedule, so I'm not sure if it'll be Monday. So my apologies for that. Kurt C said, and that was a virtual train. It wasn't a virtual train 15K. It was a virtual trail 15K. Very cool. Mr. Renan said, "My bad. Hello, team. What's going on?" Scott said Chicago is hot and humid. Yeah. Uh, what else we got here? Demaje Brown says, "Have you ever had top of foot pain from wearing a running shoe? Adidas Boston long run yesterday has my top of foot feeling very painful today." No, I don't think I've really run into that too much. I think I've experienced it before, but it's not regular that it happens to me. But usually for me, when I experience something like that, it's like something with the foot cage or like the lacing being too tight. And so I know that I frequently complain in a lot of shoe review videos about like, the shoe felt loose, or I felt like I was going to come out of it, but when I ran in it, it was fine. I do find myself like very frequently not lacing the shoes very tight. And so for some of the shoes where that happens, then like the subsequent run, I'll make sure to run to like really tighten things down. But I noticed that I intentionally avoid like tying shoes very tight. So maybe that's why I do that. I don't know. Martha said it's not humid in the Colorado mountains. I bet it isn't. I would love to be able to run out there sometime. See, Shanna Scott says, any thought on Ultras? Need new shoes and want to try Ultra again. I really enjoyed the Ultra Escalantes 2s that I ran in, and that's one that I would recommend. Not knowing like what type of terrain you're going to run on, but for my road running, I really enjoyed that one. And people are finding lots of inventory of that shoe. I don't know how much like sale inventory of that shoe exists, but there seems to be a lot of it around at 50% off, or around 50% off these days. So could be one worth picking up. Um, let's see. MC1796 says, I did do some track work yesterday in the Nike Air Zoom Streak LT4. Never ran in flats before. Man, you feel fast. Yeah, that's a shoe that I've never run in. I've ran in the Zoom Streak 7. I never ran in the Zoom, was it the Streak LT, right? Like the Streak LT 4. I always get confused on like what's the difference between those two. I mean, they look very different, but I've never understood why they have like basically like the same name. But that is a shoe that comes in lots of beautiful colors, and so I've been meaning to pick it up. And I'm interested to see that like they haven't, like I haven't seen a Zoom. I haven't really been looking for it either, but I haven't seen like a Zoom Streak 8. or an LT5. So I don't know if those are like going away. I mean, I haven't heard anything that says that they're going away, but I haven't also seen anything about them either. Um, let's see. Steve Whitey says, "Yo, late, busy, messing with a Solomon Pulse belt just delivered. My wife said, is it more shoes?" That's funny. I think basically all of our partners are kind of saying that, right? We've all developed a little bit of a shopping habit. Colin Baker says, "The Light Strike Bostons feel a lot better out of the box." Nice. Um, Pengsu says, "Enjoy every run, my friends, and I during the weekend around Golden Gate Bridge." That's cool. Um, Kurtzy says, Kofuzi says, "Lots of beautiful colors." Oh, look, they have black. I'll buy that one. That is true. That might be a reason why I didn't buy the Zoom Streak LT4, because the color that would only be available most of the time was there's like a baby blue. And that one did look nice, but I don't like baby blue shoes. So I didn't pick that one up. And the Saucony Ride 13, which is a shoe that I'm very excited about. I've been holding off on that one because I want to see if it comes out in a blackout version, the black with the gray midsole. But Roadrunner Sports just reached out to me and they're like want to send me a pair, and I don't think they have them yet. So if I let them send me a pair, um, it wouldn't be that color. But I'm also like, it is a free shoe, so I think that I probably will take them up on that. But yeah, I don't. That is funny. That's a very good observation, Kurt. But I just like the black shoes. I don't know what it is. I've always liked it that way. That or tennis ball yellow. Like those are like my two favorite colors of shoe. Although I haven't run in like a very yellow shoe in a long time, but like when I was training for my first marathon in 2010, like I was like, ooh, yellow. I've always back then, but back in 2010 though, everything was bright colors. Like people's clothes were bright colors because they're so white and cool that I don't want them to get dirty. Isn't that ridiculous? No, I mean it kind of is, but it kind of isn't, because like it doesn't look like they're making another Boston 9. So like that's going to be like the only Boston 9. I think that's going to be only Boston 9 in 2020. Um, so that's kind of weird because normally there's multiple colors of the Boston 9. And then the thing is that, like, then Martha, are you gonna pick up, like, the Boston 8s with Light Strike? Because I know you love the Boston. So it's like, what do you do? It's a good question. It's a good I mean, I have no idea. I would love to be able to talk and get, like, not a statement, but just, like, get a sense from, like, a heads up as to, like, what is Adidas thinking about the Boston, the shoe? Like, why is it not there? Why is the SL20 so cheap? What is the RC2 actually for? Like, those are, like, 3, like, big questions that I have that I just have no idea what the answer is. Um, MC 1796 saying about the Zoom Streak versus Zoom Streak LT is that the LT series, he believes, has read that the LT series is for 1 mile to 10K road, whereas a normal streak is for half marathon to marathon efforts. The LTs are really minimal. It's 2 ounces lighter than the streak. That's hard to believe because the streak was, I felt like, a pretty light shoe. Um, I knew that one was for even shorter events. I couldn't remember which way it went though, because like looking at the shoe, I could be convinced either way. And I've run in I think the longest I ran in the Zoom Streak was maybe 13 miles, but that was on one of the on the Heritage Trail around here, so on a softer surface. I definitely couldn't take it to a marathon, but I think that that was their old school, like pre like Vaporfly days. I think that was their marathon racer. I think you're right about that. Um, all right, what else we got here? Sorry, I just lost track of the comments. Um, Richard Smart says, "So Kofuzi, do you consider yourself a city guy or a country guy?" You had a few weeks now in the country way of life. I still consider myself a city guy, especially like given my experience trying to mow the lawn. So I got back from my run today, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law were in the backyard talking at a social distance to my wife and my daughter, because they needed to pick because they lent us their lawnmower to pick it up, because they had told me that they want to be able to mow their lawn this weekend. Although it's raining today, so I really think they just wanted to see us. Um, but anyway, so they were here, and my wife said that my mother-in-law is not impressed with my lawn mowing. Now, she said, "No, I didn't say that," but like I think that she must have said something about it that was not positive. And then my wife was like, "And yeah, mom, I'm sorry because he said he was going to do the trimming, but the battery wasn't charged." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Remember, I went out a second time and I did it." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. It just doesn't look like you did." So like, like that kind of thing. Not that like mowing a lawn makes me a country boy, but I'm still very much a fish out of water here. Um, I mean, I've been coming back here for, you know, my wife and I have been married for, oh boy, we got married in 2000, so 13 years we've been married. So like, I'm familiar with the area, I'm familiar with the region, and I like it. But and we've talked about moving back here before. So like, it's not something that would, I think, inconceivable or inconsistent with me. Like, I don't think I'd be unhappy here, but my preference is city living. But given how everything is right now, Chicago is not a place that I really want to be right now when it's hot. So that's that. So I'm very much enjoying where I am right now. Let's see. Martha said, I already bought another Boston 8 on sale. I still think they'll put out Boston 9s in colors. I think they're waiting to see what happens in September. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Um, Maybe they'll just be like, I wonder if like they'll change the heel cup to just say like Boston on it or something, or maybe just have like a Boston Marathon logo, but just no year on it. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. I guess there isn't a Boston Marathon 2020, so it'd be weird to have Boston Marathon 2020 on there. But I guess they could just have like the unicorn. I'm not sure. That'll be interesting to see what that is. All right. Patrick Fung is here. Said, "Yo, made it. Good to see you." Um, Kirsty said, "It's all good. Just laughing when you said lots of beautiful colors. One of my favorite shoes of all time was the same colors as the current Meta Racer." Yeah, that is a bold color. What is the favorite shoe of all time? That's the same color as the current Meta Racer, Kurt. And his Dunbar says, "Is it just me, or does the Strava leaderboard take a few refreshes to get the correct data?" It's not just you, and I can't figure it out because some days I'll look at it and I'm like, "Oh, okay, it seems like it's doing like a Wednesday to Wednesday kind of thing for the weekly thing." And then sometimes I'm like, "It's Thursday and the leader has 13 miles. I don't understand what's going on here." So it's weird the way it pulls data. It it must be running on the same database that tracks your shoe mileage because sometimes the shoe mileage is just weird and goofy. That's why I track my shoe mileage separately. Now, I have a different reason for that because I need to keep track of shoe mileage for review purposes, at least for the way that I like to do reviews. So, like, I think for most people, it's probably fine. But for like, it didn't take me very long to be like, there's something weird going on here. So, I mean, I think it's whatever it is, it's the same one. Samuel Kim says, I've been running only in Nikes for over 10 years and I'm considering Hoka brand. Any comments on what to expect? Um, I would say that it's gonna feel a lot bigger on your foot, and I would say don't expect that when you step into it, it's gonna feel like you're stepping into a marshmallow because that's not what it is. It's a different kind of feel because the foams are different, a lot of their shoes. I think that the foot strike is gonna feel different. I would say, I mean, I don't know if you have a shoe picked out that you are looking at, but I think the Clifton or the Rincon is probably a good place to start for someone that's been running in Nikes for a long time and wants to try Hokas. And the Rincon is probably gonna be like the easiest, like the most like similar, but if you're in the Clifton, give it a couple of runs before you really make up your mind on it. And then afterwards, you're gonna feel like it doesn't feel exciting to run in this shoe. But then you'll like look back at your runs and be like, oh, those were really good runs, and my legs feel great. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, this shoe, I get it now. That's what I think. Um, let's see. Kiefer Vacation says, so with your newfound love for ultras, are you gonna pick up a pair of the Escalante racers? I did buy another pair of Ultras. That'll be coming up at some point next week. It's not the Racers and it's not the Torrent, so we'll see. how much I like it, but I think I may when like the next round of new updates comes in. So like if there's like a new Ultra Escalante, I don't know if that means there's also gonna be a new Escalante Racer. And so that's what I'm kind of like waiting for to check out. And I probably won't look at it until I don't know. It might be a while before I get to a racer, but I'm very intrigued. I keep seeing ads for them. Like that's all I see in terms of ultra ads is for the racer. I'm getting a lot of those ads. Um, speaking of ads, says, I'm seeing a lot of ads for a new Allbirds running shoe. Would you review a shoe like that since it's not from a normal running shoe company? Um, I I mean, I have nothing against like new kinds of running shoes. Um, but I don't know that I want to review the Allbirds one. Um, isn't didn't a couple of other people already review it? I think Believe in the Run took a look at it. But for me, I'm not that interested. I never tried Allbirds like the regular shoe, so I don't like. I think if I had been a fan of that, then I would try it. But not having that experience, I don't know. I think might be missing a little bit of the context of it. Maybe that makes it better because I haven't tried the Allbirds like casual shoes, but I'm not that interested. There's a lot of other shoes that I'd rather get to first. Go for One Rio One says those black Atreyu shoes have looked great. What has been your impression so far? So I ran in some. Atreyu sent me some shoes, and I've been waiting on them for a while because they were like, "Hey, we want to send you a pair of shoes. We're working on a black pair. We'll send you those." And I was like, "Awesome." Um, and so I got those this week, and I ran in them today. And my legs are pretty tired. I've got a lot of miles in this week, so I tried to give them a fair shot. Um, but I the shoes, the black and white, it it reminds me a little bit of like a bowling shoe or like a casual shoe. Um, but I think that I'm trying to figure out from it right now is like the Atreyu shoes that I've seen so far look like they were like tempo day, faster day shoes. And the design and the styling is a little bit like aggressive and it kind of like looks that way. But I'm wondering if it's not like a really great daily trainer, if that's what it's for. And I've read some other reviews and I've looked at some other reviews, but like I kind of stayed away from them thinking that I'd get to them eventually. So I'll look around on Atreyu's website to kind of see how they're positioning it. So I feel like it absorbed so far, like my gut feeling so far, I still have to kind of like digest my thoughts from today's run, is that I felt like it really absorbed impact well. I enjoyed it actually like running on sometimes I have to run on the shoulder of the road and like in the dirt road and there's rocks and stuff. It handled that situation much better than most of the other road shoes I've been running in lately, and it just soaked up like the road impact really well. But it wasn't giving me quite as much like of a rebound or spring as I was kind of expecting. I was kind of expecting it to feel kind of like the either more like the Rincon or the what I feel when I run in the Ultra Escalantes. I didn't feel either of that. So like trying to think about like is that just a matter of like my expectations would had which were just kind of just very subjective and not really grounded in anything, not matching with what I had in front of me, or is it like I feel like the shoe's missing something? I'm not sure, so I have to think about it a little bit more. But I had a very good run today. The fit is amazing. um, I mean, the shoes were so snug that normally I kind of like I do the thing where you like step on one heel and slide your foot out. I couldn't do that. I had to like take the shoe off. I had to like use my hands to take the shoes off today because the fit is so snug, even though I hardly tied them at all. So, um, Kurt says one of my favorite shoes of all time was around the mid 2000s. It looks like they have recycled the name, but it was the Adidas Adios Light Strike, but not Light Strike, but like LITE Strike. I don't know that I can compare it to any current shoes. That's fascinating, interesting. Um, cool, Kurt. Thanks for sharing that. Um, Mr. Random says, "Does anybody remember the Zoom Air, the Nike Air Zoom Moire? I don't know if that's a typo. MOIRE before GPS watches and other smartwatches. I don't remember that at all. But I'd be interesting to see if anyone else does. Um, Vince C says, recovering from mowing grass is tougher on me than any run could ever be. That's funny. Um, Jeff Flanagan says he misses the high rise. Look at him chilling up near the ceiling. LOL. That's funny. um, Peter Peter Dankoff says, "Do you live in the Chicago city?" Yes, that's where I normally am. I'm not there now, but that's where we normally live. We live right by like very close to Wrigley Field. Shannon Scott says, "I want to commit to training, but it's hard with the uncertainty." Anyone else? Yeah, I can understand that for sure. But I think that like what I've been kind of advising for people or people that ask me about it is that like, depending on what the race plan is, um, you could always start the training plan and then by the time like, the training plan really ramps up, you'll have an idea if it's going to cancel or not. If it's one of those races that's still like not decided yet. And so I think that like, it's not going to be like you're burning yourself out too much if you do that a couple of different times in the year. So that's kind of been my thinking on it. So I think there was an early comment from her as well that said from Shanna that was thinking, do you think the fall races will actually take place? She has Chicago in October and Houston in January, albeit marathon number 2 and 3 for me. So it's not for training is not automatic for me yet. Yeah, I think I don't think Chicago is going to go. Oh, it's raining now. I don't think Chicago is going to go. They still haven't technically canceled it yet, but if you're, if it's for your second marathon, I think that you can probably start. I mean, it depends on how long your training plan is. If you've got like a much longer training plan that has you starting already right now, I would say go ahead and start training for it right now because we'll probably know in the next 3 or 4 weeks whether it's gonna go. Um, and based on the way that things are going right now, it makes it seem even less likely. But you'll know in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And, you know, if it ends up, trying to go ahead as planned, then you won't have like to try to make up the 3 or 4 weeks. Not that you can really do that in a training plan, but at least you'll get those 3 or 4 weeks in. And then if not, then Houston, I think, has a much better shot of going in January. Um, and it's not going to be like you won't be able to recover and reset for a Houston marathon training block, which probably wouldn't even start that until like the end of the summer anyway. So I think it'll be fine. I would go ahead and start training with their training plan because the first couple of weeks, I'm assuming, aren't the most intense. Um, let's see. Uh, Johannes Richter says, "Hey, what's going on? Love the Mizuno episode. Really entertaining. Thanks." Well, thanks. I had a lot of fun making that one. Um, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's see. Christopher Colangelo says, "For longer runs, sorry, I have a bug bite. It's a giant bug bite over here, and it's really itchy. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to scratch it, but it's just so itchy." Christopher Colangelo says, "For longer runs, do you prefer gels, gummies, other? Does it change depending on season? Finding that thicker gels can be tough during the summer." Yes, I'm finding the exact same thing. And so for the winter, I bring almost no water with me on most of my runs, which is probably a mistake. But for some of those winter runs, I'm worried that it's going to make me colder because as the pack gets colder, the water gets cold. It's like running with an ice pack on yourself. And so I don't want to do that. So I tend to not bring that much water. Or if I do, sometimes I'll bring water in a flip belt. But also usually most of my winter running isn't that intense that like really requires a lot of liquid hydration and I end up taking in more gels that are thicker. This summer I have a couple of gels that I normally like, the Cliff Shots and then the Goo Roctane that I've just not been enjoying as much when it's super hot. And I've been much more preferring having water in my hydration pack and running with it that way. Most summers I don't run with a hydration pack because there's water fountains along the lakefront where I run, but I guess the lakefront technically opens up tomorrow for running and transit. I don't know. So, but anyway, that's a digression. But so normally I would just drink out water out of the water fountains and eat gels. But now I'm finding I'm altering the mixture for more water and sugar and replenishment from the hydration pack and less gels. Like today for my 15-mile run, I took a lot more liquid with, like sports drink in it and only one gel with me. Whereas before, like just when we first got here, I was bringing like 2 or 3 gels with me. Um, Bert Legas says he's now at 4 to 5 runs a week and 90 kilometers a week. Great. Before I did much less. Awesome. How are you feeling on that? Hopefully you're feeling good. I mean, you're probably feeling a little bit tired, but hopefully like your body's adapting to it well. Um, Stevie76 says, my marathon strategy, when do they close the course? Haven't DNF yet. Awesome. Oh, man. Bert said he did a first marathon in October in 4:22, and my third marathon by myself in 3:43. I just want to do the 50K under 5 hours. And Bert, you're doing a 50K in January, right? I think I saw that earlier up somewhere. So very cool. That's good progress. Good work. New York 77 says, hello, Kofuzi from New York. Do you think compression socks are good to use while you are running, or is it better for recovery? Thank you. I like them for when I'm running in kind of like the transitional seasons when it's like, man, I could probably wear full length tights, but I could go with shorts and some compression socks for my run today. To use them when running more as they make me feel good for when I'm racing or because of temperature. I usually prefer them for after the run, and I just wear them around the house. Mr. Random says Allbirds and Adidas are working on a running shoe. I heard about that. I thought it was a weird collab. Um, I think it's a very weird collab. I think it'll be really super weird if Adidas buys Allbirds. But I mean, Adidas has been making a lot of shoes with as small of an environmental footprint or with certain focuses on environmental impact. So they've been working a lot with Probably for the Oceans. And then Allbirds is like all natural and they focus on their supply chain in terms of the environmental impact. So I can see there's a lot of synergies there. Synergies is like a weird word to use, but like I can see there's a lot of like, I think potential alignment that could make sense with that. But I just think that it's like, um, yeah, I don't know how much Adidas would get out of it. I think Allbirds would get a lot out of it, but I don't know how much Adidas gets out of it. It's weird to me. Um, let's see. Cody Davis says, "Oh man, I'm late. Hope everyone's doing good." Well, it's good to see you, Cody. I think we're doing all right in here today. Ahmed Alam says, "Do you think you could still train optimally while using one shoe for everything, including the race, given insane shoe prices today? If so, which shoe would you recommend?" I think you can. I think it's possible. It's not something that I would really recommend because I think that you just probably want something different. Want to just give your shoe a break so that it will last longer if you're rotating it back and forth between like one other shoe. But if you can't, I would say I would look for something in the daily trainer category because it's going to be a little bit more durable and be able to handle that kind of a beating. So I think like the Pegasus would be a good choice. The Clifton would be a great choice as well. The Beacon would be another good one that I would look at. Those are all like a little bit lighter, but also can definitely soak up that kind of like daily running. And you can race in them. I've seen people race in them. I've raced a marathon in Pegasus before. So definitely something that people can and have done and can do. So that's something that I would take a look at. And if like cost is the concern because of the like the insane prices that you mentioned, I would always look for like last year's shoe. That's usually a great way to find some deals. Sorry, I was trying to drink out of this. I just punched myself in the face. All right. Yeah, Frank Lahulier says even if the lakefront open, the water fountains will be off, which makes so much sense. But yeah. Mr. Random says the Zoom War was the first Nike Apple. Okay. It was the main shoe for the Nike Plus collection. Yeah, I remember. Is that the one that had the thing that you could put inside the shoe? It was like a little puck. It looked like a stride foot pod almost, but flatter. And you put it inside the shoe. I remember those. I don't know if that's the shoe that you're talking about. Recycle on Wednesday says, hey, chat folks, have any of you ever dealt with numb feet, not in winter? If so, how did you resolve or manage it while training? I've seen a doctor start ruling out serious causes. For me, when that happens, it's usually at the beginning, like when I'm breaking in a shoe. It happens to my wife a little bit more frequently. When it happens to me, it's because the shoe is touching my arch in a certain way where it's like not pinching it, but impinging it, I guess. So if like this is my foot, and then this is like the part of the shoe that's touching it, it's like pushing up on it and like causing like that numbness and tingling in the toes. So that's what it is for me. A lot of times for me, it goes away. For my wife, if she gets that in a shoe, it doesn't go away. And so that's something to keep in mind. So I would look for a shoe that has less of a prominent arch, and see if that fixes it. But also, I mean, if you're already concerned enough that you're trying to chase that down with some medical providers, then I would make sure you continue along that line, um, to make sure that it's not something more that isn't something more serious. Yeah, Shannon's saying like, "Yikes, are your shoes big enough? Not tying too tight. I work in neurology. Hopefully, isn't neurological." Yeah. So yeah, yeah, if it is something that you think it could be serious, then definitely follow up. Jeff Flanagan saying, yeah, feet swallow as you run, so make sure you have room in there. Stevie76 says, compression socks with 2-inch shorts. I mean, that's essentially what most of that's what like Stephanie Bruce runs in, right? So she's got like her, they're not 2-inch shorts. She's got like the short tights that women wear. Um, and then she wears like really tall, long, white compression socks with her. That's what I think that's her look. Motivation Theory Running's here. What's going on? He says, "Hey everyone, awesome." Anthony Wu says, "Have you tried any of the hydration vests by Salomon?" I have not. Um, the what is it? S Lab. That series of vests looks amazing, but much like the Solomon shoes that I tried recently, it's probably a little bit more trail oriented than I need, and so I always felt like I'm not sure that I need that. So it has like a lot of features that I don't think I need. But then again, I think that like it's not like they make like a city hydration vest, because like as long as you're making a vest, you can always add those like trail features for pretty cheap. So it might be something that I would look at. It just also seems very, very expensive. So I don't know if it's worth it or not, but that's perhaps probably a good reason to try and review them. So that way I can make sure, I can see, is it worth the extra amount? Shannon says, Kofuzi, I just want to say thank you for doing this almost every single day, since this is more work for you and gives us opportunity to miss the day. All right, no problem. I mean, I enjoy doing this. And today's episode number 60. And that's just of the YouTube live streams, because remember, there was Instagram streams twice a day on Instagram before I moved some of them to YouTube. So I'll have to go back and see like when the first day was. So I know there's been a couple days that I've missed, but there's been a lot of days. So um, yeah, there's been a lot of these, but it's been really fun to do. Um, Motivation Theory Running says -2 instructor the bee's knees. That's funny. Um, I yesterday I went to bed in the shorts that I was going to plan on running in the morning, and the shorts that I had on were the Path Project's 5-inch shorts. And my daughter just got these new shorts. I think they're Old Navy shorts. I don't know what the logo is. It looks kind of like a T, but like, and I don't know. Anyway, but like, and they're a short with a liner in them. So I think that they're running shorts meant for like kids. She calls them her bicycle shorts. Um, and I was like, "Why are you calling them bicycle shorts?" And she goes, "Because they have this thing on the inside, and that's like the liner." So I don't know where she got that from, or why these shorts have liners. But my my daughter was excited because she's like, "Daddy, we match." And then I looked at it. I'm like, "Oh, I think that her shorts as an 8-year-old were the same length as my 5-inch shorts." So that was pretty funny. Or maybe it wasn't. Thanks for following me along. That was a long story for not a lot of payback or payoff. Sorry about that. Kyle Manwaran says, "Have you had runner's knee before?" Yeah, I actually don't know what people mean when they say runner's knee, but I do run into knee issues occasionally. It comes in two flavors. One flavor is that on higher mileage weeks in the winter, when I'm running on a lot of hard surfaces, I will find that my knee like hurts, as in kind of like just the knee area generally throbs a little bit. Um, if it's cold after the run. So like, for example, if I'm running and I have to drive to the run, or if I'm running and the run ends and then I'm walking like a couple blocks to home after the run had finished, um, that cold temperature combined with the running will make the knee like kind of like feel a little bit unhappy. Um, and it's just a general like almost like it's swollen. So, and that's because it probably is. The other way that my knee issues like tend to show up is if I run in a stability shoe. Then, like for whatever reason, a stability shoe, if I run more than like 2 runs in a short period of time in a stability shoe, it'll make one of my 2 knees hurt. I don't know how it picks, but it just does. And then that kind of feels like a little bit like a shin splint, but in my knee. It's a weird feeling. Um, Donald Beck, speaking of S-Lab S's, says, I have an S-Lab vest and I really enjoy it. Got it on sale. I prefer it over holding bottle on my long runs. It's more convenient for me to pack my phone, trash, and gel. Yeah, I mean, I'm finding mine really convenient. And I think that like I really wish that like the price points on running vests generally were all just a little bit less. It just still seems like very expensive. Um, but then again, it is something that you run in like with like I run in with mine like 3 or 4 times a week. Um, and it is extremely useful to put all your stuff in it. So it's very convenient. So I do like mine a lot. And I think that I might try and review a couple more just to take a look at what else is out there. I have my Nathan vest. I have my Camelback one. So I might look at another, maybe I will take a look at a Solomon S Lab one, or maybe just another Solomon one. Do they make ones that are not S? They make ones that are not S Lab, I think. Um, and then I might take a look at Ultimate Direction because I haven't looked at one of theirs in a long time. Jeff Flanagan says he has an S Lab vest, but I hardly ever use a pack. I like the pack, but hate the soft flask that it uses. Yeah, I'm falling out of love with like the soft flasks up front. Like the last video where I did that, I had one in the front, and it just bounced like crazy the entire time and caused a lot of chafing. And so like right now, I'm just loving the hydration bladder behind me, and it's working for me a lot. I'm still having a hard time with the hose. It's too long. People said I can cut it, but I kind of like it too long. I figured it out now, you know? So, um, Luis Becerra says, just woke up. What did I miss? Yo, what's going on? You didn't miss, yeah, I mean, we're just hanging out. We're just chilling. I also took a nap today. Um, so I can definitely relate. Jasminder Kang says, do you plan to run outside the US? At some point, yeah. I mean, I think that like Americans aren't allowed to travel to Canada right now. I think Canadians are kicking us out or keeping us out. Um, I think the border with Mexico is open, but like I'm not in a hurry to get on a plane at this point, or even really drive that far. I'm very happy to kind of stay where I am for the moment. Um, Kirk says shin splints are a bear. Had them for years until I got better at forefoot landing. Oh, interesting. Blas Grubner says, you probably already talked about it, but Seth got your shirt. Yeah, someone mentioned that today. So I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen that video yet, but I'll definitely have to take a look at it. And the video that I was wearing today, someone else mentioned this. The video that I made today, I was wearing his shirt. So it's nice, nice coincidences today. Donald Beck says, it was still expensive. I think you're talking about the S-Lab vest, but I think I got it from Backcountry for around $100 or 106. That's a good price. I mean, that's still a big expense. I feel like running vest should be like around $80. Like I feel like that's a price point that makes sense to me. Not but judging by like cost of materials or labor or whatever, just feels like then like if they were 80, I'd probably buy two. If they're at 100, I probably would only buy one, you know? But anyway, you guys, for 100 or 106, they tend to go on sale around Christmas time. Downside is that it does not come with a big bladder. But I mean, I think that the bladders last a long time though. So as long as you have one that you like, you could probably, even across brands, you know, move them from one bag to another. Let's see. Yeah, Donald Beck says, and replacement soft flats are expensive. They are really expensive. And what I generally tend to find is like anytime I go to look to buy a replacement one, because I lose them a lot, like I can't find the exact same one. So then I have a mismatched pair. That feels weird. So it's frustrating. The Nathan ones that I had like tall straws on them, so it looked like little radios on the front of my running vest, and I lost one of the bottles because, like I said, I lose them, and I wanted to replace it, but then like I could only replace it, and I asked like a Nathan rep at one point, like, "Do you guys still make those?" And they're like, "There are some retailers that still have them, but we're not making them anymore." And so I could, if I wanted to replace that bottle in the vest, I'd have to get another one, but one would be like a stubby, and one would be like a tall one. So I guess I would look like my dog with one ear up and one ear down, but yeah, it's frustrating. Steve Arnberg says, "What color lens is best for running sunglasses?" I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. I usually just like mirror finish lenses, so that's what I get. But I don't know if that's optimal or not. One of the things that I look for sometimes, I mean, I'm kind of ambivalent on polarized lenses because while I do like that polarized lenses, I think will help with like reflections and certain preventing certain kinds of light in. I also tend to run with electronics, and polarized lenses and electronics don't go well together. I kind of like my lens, my running sunglasses, just kind of like throwaway. I don't like to spend a lot of money on it. All right. So JCC says, I recommend. I mean, I thought it worked for me. Not that I'm done with it, but I'm still doing it. But it took me a long time, and I complained a lot about it. Um, and all I could think about is how much I didn't like it, and I feel like I had a bad attitude about it for a long time. But after a while, it started to like make my body started to adjust to it, and the slow paces were really hard to adjust to. But I think now's a real all right. Um, Jeff Flanagan said just tried the Gooders and I like them. I like Gooders too. Um, yeah, Steve Arnberg says I didn't know about polarized and electronics. Great tip. Don't want to screw my AirPods. No, it won't mess them up. It's just that polarized lenses, like depending on which way you're holding the screen, you won't be able to see like your phone or like a GoPro. So like one way you'll be able to see it fine, but if you rotate it 90 degrees, it'll the screen will look black or like it's off because that's the way the polarized lenses go. So it's just a weird like coincidence. All right. So um, looks like I missed a comment from J Mike. Um, did J Mike Remy just have a speech today he was given? Looks like it. Hmm. Sorry, I missed that. All right. All right, let's find one more comment and then I think we'll wrap it up for today. Um, Jay Cohn says, just bought a Montaigne Via vest for $60 and it's $150 normally. Great fit and very comfortable. I have not heard of Montaigne. I'll have to take a look at that. That sounds cool. Yeah, so I think that I will probably take a look at another vest or two to see if we could do that. Because it seems like, well, I think a lot of people probably need vests this year, since a lot of places don't have water fountains that are open. So interesting. Donald Beck says, check Steep and Cheap. Think it's a discount outlet for backcountry. Yeah, backcountry is probably one of the places I'll look, and then Steep and Cheap. I'll have to look for it too. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks. I think that's where I will leave it for today. I had a great time today, everybody. Hope you guys had fun too. Thanks for tuning in. Um, I don't think I'll have a YouTube video tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be Father's Day. But I normally take either Saturday or Sunday off in terms of a YouTube video. But I will have another live stream in the afternoon. So we'll still do that. We'll still get together for a little bit tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Time from somewhere in Iowa. We'll see. Probably still Guttenberg, Iowa. But we'll see about that. But hopefully you guys are staying safe out there and enjoying your runs in the meantime. And I'll see you in the next one.